Money talk.
Yeah. Jeff can speak for both of us.
Money talks, but the students do the work. This is a wonderful evening. It's always wonderful to celebrate the students that are achieving in our classrooms and in our communities. I was joking with somebody before we started our gathering this evening that someday we're going to be old and retired. Some may be there already. But when my colleague here, when the time does come, the people that are in our classrooms today are going to bear the responsibilities for the prosperity of our communities. So this investment now is an investment not just in their futures, but it's an investment in our collective futures. So it's wonderful to support that. The commissioners have done so twice at this time. And I look forward to a few more in my time as commissioner.
I will only add that we missed Dave on the board already.
Before we actually do the check presentation, I feel compelled to have to say this. When this initiative started, and Jeff was at the first meeting that we had with local officials in regards to whether or not there was going to be an investment that was going to be made into this initiative. And that meeting didn't go too well. But I came back to my peers, Democrats and Republicans, and unanimously this board on two separate occasions funded this initiative. I didn't get a quarrel, I didn't get a fight, I didn't get anything out of any of my peers on that board. I came to them the first time, they gave a $140,000 grant. I came back to them the second time, and they gave a $50,000 grant. So I want to say thank you to my peers. I'm done. I'm out your hair.
Funding. It is essential that we understand that funding is important. Liberty, justice, peace, pursuit of happiness.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Great to see you too. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? This is such an awesome event. It's called the African American Educational Excellence Awards. And the poem I'm going to do today is going to challenge you guys and challenge the way you think. But before I get into that poem, I have to mention somebody that I studied in college. His name is W.E.B. Du Bois. You guys, are you familiar with him? He was the first black student to graduate from Harvard University with his PhD. And one of the things he challenged us as a community, and I'm talking to the young people, the 19 and the unders in the room, he told us that it's going to take the talented 10th to be cultivated, to understand ideologies and study for themselves and gain education for themselves, to go back and help the rest of the community. So you guys in this room, you're all the talented 10th. Anybody can be good at school, right? You can get good grades, you can study and follow the teacher's order. But it takes a unique individual to think for themselves, to not want to study to get a letter grade, but study to understand and to cultivate change. And once you do that, you're able to challenge the status quo and become innovators. And once you do that, you become like Dr. King and you provoke change. So this poem is going to talk about that. And I would have to say this too. One of the things I believe in beyond education is Christ and God, who's the Savior of my life. The tooth fairy will forget to put $1 under my pillow sometimes. The conclusion of this illusion was it had to be mama or grandma who will forget things because they always ask things like didn't I tell you to do the dishes? Or take the meat out the freezer for dinner? Didn't I tell you to stop running in and out of the house? You're going to let my good air out. What goes on in my house stays in my house. Don't let my business air out. Talk back again and I'll wear your bottom out. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you to stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about? Stop picking on your sister. Didn't I tell you that some things are better left unremembered? I was never taught to believe in Santa Claus or reindeer. Fairy tales only reigned here in our storybooks. We would grab hold of any sunshine. You are my sunshine because it felt like it only rained here. My grade school teachers taught us about Christopher Columbus. The chapter after said he befriended the Indians so we could all move in. We would give them a helping hand so we can take their land. We seldom give, but we always take, to say the least. So for every Thanksgiving, we partake in a feast. Slavery was only a paragraph of the aftermath of a history lesson. And after I got good at math, I realized that Jim Crow was only a couple of decades ago. Racial division gave them every reason to subtract the facts, and it still doesn't add up. I learned that roots only taught me half the truth of where my roots came from, and it's not down the chimney. And if Pinocchio was real, their noses would be twice as long. The tooth fairy would forget to put $1 under my pillow because no matter how hard I would sleep, there was no American dream, so now I stay woke. But that phrase became just as fictitious as fairy tales. I learned how quickly people tell tales, and Tom truly tells it all. Because all my life I thought it was against the law to drive around with the interior lights on. I thought that Adam really ate an apple in that garden, or Christmas was actually Christ's birthday. For God's sake, I thought that shooting stars really did make wishes come true. Because on every 4th of July, we would shoot up fireworks in the name of red, white, and blue. I thought that Pledge of Allegiance was for my independence too. America is why I have trust issues. It's why I don't believe when people tell me they're around the corner. We cut corners so we don't have to stay on a dotted line. And there's a thin line between faith and fake. And I don't blame my parents or my teachers or even the anchors on the news, because it feels like these days no one is anchored in truth. We believe in books, whether holy or autobiography, those writers were humans too. We believe in science and hypotheses and hypocrisies and make believe that it's prophecy for profit. Our currency says in God we trust, but we trust more in money because we can buy power and we can buy our way out of poverty, but we can't buy freedom. Money doesn't grow on trees, and if loving it is the root of all evil, then greed is the seed. We take money, we save money, we make money, and money makes us. It makes us do crazy things like race to the moon, place down our flag, and back then no one knew if that really happened. It makes us worship idealism. It makes us worship capitalism and idealism. It makes us enslaved and oppressed, and mama says money is tight, so I guess we lose because we make less. And they'll never let us forget it. We all thought Pluto was a planet, but it's just a perspective, and this is just my perception, and I don't have any proof. So ask yourself, is it your truth or is it what somebody told you? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, just